What does that tell you?
So last week you only had one. Oh.
Just a quick, update for the board, the vote system isn't working. So we're gonna do roll call after for each vote. Barbara will say roll call. Each time.
Okay,
Okay.
can we start the meeting now?
What is 6 o'clock? At 6 o'clock, we're gonna check.
No.
We bet with you guys when it's time.
It's time.
It's time now?
Everybody wave.
Meeting is now called to order.
I didn't hear that. Thank you.
Meeting will now come to order at 6 o'clock. Can we have roll call, please? We will please stand up and put your right hand to your heart and will now say the pledge of allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now have roll call.
Ms. Lopez,
Present.
Ms. Sarmiento,
Present.
Ms. Maria Bernardo Castañeda,
Present.
Ms. Avalos,
Present.
and Ms. Gates is absent.
We'll have public communications. Okay. Fine. Public communications. Public communications provide the public with an opportunity to address the board regarding an item on the agenda or other topic. Anyone wishing to address the board shall submit a request for oral communications card. Cards are available near the entrance of the boardroom and are to be submitted to the recording secretary. A member of the public who wishes to address the board on any such matter or matters is limited to 3 minutes. For one matter, up to a maximum of 5 minutes. For all closed and open session matters, there shall be a limit of 20 minutes for any matter unless such time is limited is waived by the majority vote of the board. Members of the public may not yield any time to other speakers. No board action can be taken.
There are no speakers.
Agenda. We're on number 3. Approve the consent. Accept the agenda.
Move to accept.
Second.
We have Mrs. Sarmiento, who's accept, and Ms. Lopez, who seconds the motion. Any other questions? Please vote.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Sarmiento,
Yes.
Ms. Rebecca Castañeda,
Yes.
Ms. Avalos,
Yes.
the item passes unanimously.
Item 4, approve consent agenda, routine items of business. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be acted upon in one action by the board. It is understood that the superintendent has recommended approval for these items. There will be no discussion prior to the time that the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent agenda. All items approved by the board will be deemed considered in full and adopted as recommended. A, administration.
Motion to approve item 4.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Castaneda, a second by Mrs. Sarmiento. All those in favor, please vote.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Sarmiento,
Yes.
Ms. Rebecca Castañeda,
Yes.
Ms. Avalos,
Yes.
item passes unanimously.
We will now go to general functions. Item 5, general functions. A, approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on June the 11th, 2025. B, adopt resolution 2425. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve item 5.
Second.
Do I have a second? Motion by Ms. Castaneda and second by Ms. Cindy Lopez. All those in favor? Please
Ms.
vote.
Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Sarmiento,
Abstain.
Ms. Rebecca Castañeda,
Yes.
Ms. Avalos,
Yes.
motion passes 3 yes, 1 abstain.
Thank you. Number 5B, general functions. Approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on 5B, adopt resolution 242536 regarding absence of board member Mrs. Alma Sarmiento due to illness. Mrs. Alma Sarmiento was absent for the regular board meeting held on June the 11th, 2025.
She recuses herself.
May I have a motion?
Yeah, wait till
Motion to approve item 5B.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Ms. Castaneda, second by Mrs. Lopez.
Ms.
Please
Lopez.
vote.
Aye.
Ms. Veronica Castañeda.
Item 5B, yes.
Ms. Avalos.
Yes.
Item passes 3 yes, 1 recused.
Thank you. Number 6, educational services. A presentation and approval of CT 4299.
I'm sorry, excuse me, we need to wait for, coming to the return.
That's okay.
Marathon meeting, sorry.
6, educational services. Number A, presentation and approval of CT 4299 with Parent Square to provide a communication technology platform. Approval of this item will allow the district access to Parent Square communication technology platform. Do I have?
Do you want to get the motion first or either way?
We really do.
Okay, yeah. Thank you and good evening, everyone. I'm going to just do a verbal presentation. Let me give you some background on this issue. We currently have 2 messaging tools, 2 official tools that the district uses to do mass communications for our parents and staff. One of them is Talking Points and one is Class Messenger. Talking Points is a tool that we will have still access to until 26-27, so we'll have it next year, this current year that we're starting, but it expires at the end of the year that we're going into. There have been some limitations expressed with the use of this tool, some of the translations and other things. So there was a general feeling from staff that it wouldn't fill all of our needs, so we have started looking. The other tool, Class Messenger, was linked to our website that we have updated and is no longer available to us. So with that, we have started looking at additional tools, and we did have a focus group, our mass notification system focus group that has met. There were a number of people invited, almost 50 invited to participate. We did have 19 that did participate in this. 11 did even more, did a detailed feedback survey. We also had our information technology department do an in-depth review. From that, Parent Square was selected as the best all around, both in the survey and from our IT department investigations. There was a small sample size on the survey, but from the data that was shared out from our executive director of IT, it was pretty apparent that Parent Square met all of the boxes that we were looking for, filled all the boxes. I can tell you a little bit about Parent Square. It's used by a number of districts. Some of the reviewers in our feedback from the survey talked about its ease and use and efficiency, that it fulfills many different functions, both for fast communications and more detailed communications. It can be used for direct messaging and mass group targeted communications. It has language accessibility for multi-languages and does a good job with that. And it also does an excellent job with streamlined notifications. So I think it could help reduce the number of notifications and platforms that our parents are starting to see too many of, maybe. So again, from the work from our focus group and from our IT department, this was the #1 tool that was recommended. So where are we now? I'm separating this item for mass communications from teacher to parent communications. That item is continuing to be reviewed and discussed. There are a number of free tools out there that some of our staff have used in the past that we still want to review. That's a different issue. We need a mass communication tool We need to be able to signal to our parents or staff as quickly as possible and in a form that streamlines easily with our current systems. And for that tool, we're recommending tonight that ParentSquare be the choice. So,
Do you have any questions? Ms. Lopez?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Berg. I have two, but I'll ask the first one. Are parents able to send messages directly to their teachers? Is that the purpose of this app?
you can do teacher to parent and parent to teacher through this app as well. Yes.
And is there a reason why we don't have a demo of how it works? So like the app, because it's an app or it's a website? I'm confused.
It's an app.
Yeah.
It's both actually. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead,
Is
John.
it possible to have it on the screen to show us how it works? How do users sign up? How can they send a message? It would be good to see that.
Yeah, can I jump in? So right now, our school messenger system allows us to type in a message and parents receive it in their email and they receive it in their text. And that's what this will allow us to do. So this is intended to get an email or a text from the district level because the one we currently use is sunsetting with the website because they're tied. Then there's a second option, a second communication tool that we're exploring. We don't have that yet, but I think we could do a presentation the next time we bring that forward. There's been conversations, I think, around some teachers really like Dojo and some districts use Dojo. That's one of the discussions. What we have found is that there are some concerns about who owns the data. Does Dojo sell to parents? And if we got a Public Records Act request, would we be able to fulfill it and things like that? And so that was some of the things we're still working out. While ParentSquare does do what Talking Points does and does do what Dojo does, we're not recommending it in substitute of Talking Points or in lieu of finding that tool that meets that need. I think that's still ongoing is what you're saying. And it could be that it's one and the same at the end and we'll do that demo. It could be that it's two separate. Now the parents can sign up for an app, and one of our concerns is too many apps. Like if you have a ParentSquare app and you have a Dojo app and you have a what was the other one? Talking Points app, which one are you reading? Are you really going to open them all? This one allows us to bypass whether or not a parent has an app. They get it in their email, they get it as a text. And so this would be like schools closed because there's a hurricane or a tornado or a fire or something like that. We want to have that mass communication. So that's the only thing we're recommending for this, even though it has capability and was discussed for those other purposes. We're just not there yet.
So the cost of this $22,470, that includes the cost of each text, or is that additional text costs?
For everything.
That's for everything.
For all
yes.
the texting you'll do for the year?
Yes.
Okay.
And perhaps simplifying this really is replacing directly the messenger program, which went away. It looks very similar. It just is more functional.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Sarmiento?
Yeah, you mentioned that there would be several languages included. Do we know how many as compared to how many languages our students speak?
The website says 150 languages. I haven't personally checked that out, but
It's a lot.
yeah, this is used by a number of school districts.
Any other questions? We'll now go on to item B. Roll call for voting, please.
You need-
Do I have a motion? Do
I have to make a motion to approve item 6A.
I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Castaneda and a second by Mrs. Lopez. All those in favor, please vote.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Ms. Sarmiento?
Aye.
Ms. Veronica Castañeda? Ms. Ábalos?
Yes.
Item passes unanimously.
Number B, approve CT 4296 with soft choice to provide Microsoft licensing. Approval of this item will allow the district to provide safe and secure access to Microsoft products for district technology users. Do I have any questions? Mrs. Lopez?
Yes, I just wanted clarification. So from this item and then the following, is it correct to say we're moving away from any Google services to more Microsoft? Is that what this change in vendor, or what's happening with these two items that are coming?
let me explain this one. We currently use Microsoft Defender.
Okay.
However, it doesn't work in our current version on our Macs. This new version will include the Macintosh, so that's why this is on the agenda tonight.
Okay.
Ms. Sarmiento?
Sorry, I forgot to turn it off. Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second by Ms. Look, we have a motion by Ms. Castaneda and a second by Ms. Lopez. Please vote.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Ms. Sarmiento?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker Castellano?
Yes.
Ms. Avalos?
Yes.
And it passes unanimously.
Item C, approve CT 4298 with Borderland Security for a student safety platform. Approval of this item will allow the district access to services for Borderland Security. Do you have any questions? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve item 6C.
Do I have a second?
I'll second and then, here, yeah.
Do you have a question?
No. I think that's great.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This is another tool to help protect our students. Many districts are moving to cloud-based formats for this kind of protection. It's much more fluid and easier to update. And so it's, to answer partially your question from last time, is that we're moving away from tools that sit on a desk to more cloud-based tools, and this is one example of that. It also performs more functions than our current tools.
So, if I could add to that, so when we monitor students to make sure they're not having self-harm, like if they Google something, we'll pick that up in our current systems. This would also look at attachments. So there are certain things, like if you go into Google Meets, all we know is you were in Google Meets. We don't really know what was happening in the Google Meets. If you attach something, it doesn't really, our current software doesn't know what exactly is attached. It just knows there's an attachment. So this would be something that would go deeper and actually scan some of those additional things and keep our kids even safer.
We have a motion by Mrs. Castaneda and a second by Mrs. Lopez.
Ms. Lopez?
Yes, sir, I just wanted to make a comment, on my thing. Just want to say thank you, staff. I know this is a part of the greater thing for safety for our students, so I acknowledge that and I see that here, so thank you for bringing this forward. So, yes,
Ms.
Thank
Sarmiento?
you.
Ms. Sarmiento?
We're
We're voting?
My vote?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ms. Whitaker Castellano?
Yes.
Ms. Avalos?
Yes.
And it passes unanimously.
Going down to item D, approve CT 4310 with the San Diego County Superintendent of Schools to provide career exportation experiences. Approval of this item will provide the district access to services from the Linda Vista Innovation Center. Do you have any questions? No questions? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
second.
We have a motion to approve by Mrs. Sarmiento and a second by Mrs. Lopez. Please vote.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Ms. Sarmiento?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker Castellano?
Yes.
Ms. Avalos?
Yes.
And it passes unanimously.
Thank you. Now down to Human Resource Services, item 7. Approve the title change from Executive Director of Technology to Chief Technology Officer. The district would like to transition the job description title of Executive Director of Technology to Chief Technology Officer CTO to align with industry standards. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cindy, you have a
Oh, I
question?
think Ms. Sarmiento was first.
Ms. Sarmiento?
Do you need a second before we have discussion?
No, I thought you had a question.
I do, but do we need a second before we have discussion?
Yes,
Okay, anybody want to say?
we have a motion to approve by Ms. Lopez and a second by Ms. Sarmiento.
No, the motion was made by myself.
Oh, excuse me. A motion was made by Ms. Castaneda and a second by Ms. Sarmiento. Oh, did I get it wrong again?
Okay, I'll second it.
It looks like it was.
I thought it was.
Would you stop- would you stop
That's-
doing that?
Discussion. It is.
I thought so.
That's for the discussion. Okay. So here's.
Yeah.
We have a motion to approve by Ms. Castaneda and a second by Ms. Sarmiento. Please vote.
No discussion.
And the discussion.
Who are you calling on to discuss first?
Ms. Sarmiento?
Thank you. Yes, I was confused about this title change. I know when this gentleman came on board, we changed the title from one to another, and now we're going to another. And it says to align with industry standards. What exactly does that mean?
Ms. Captain?
So as we look at positions that are responsible for technology, we're looking and we're finding that a lot of the districts are using this term chief technology officer rather than executive director of technology. So if you look at other school districts, or even in the private sector, you won't find as many executive directors as opposed to chief technology officer. Also, the other change that we made on there is currently that position reports to the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. We really want this position to be working directly with Executive Cabinet and therefore reporting directly to the superintendent. So that's the other change on the job description. Nothing else has changed other than the title and who the person's going to report to, and the salary would stay the same.
Okay, so in other words, this individual, it seems to me like they can report to the superintendent no matter what the title is. If the superintendent says you're gonna report to me, so why is that an issue?
It's in the job description. So if you look at the job description, well, if you look at on the attachment at the very beginning, it said that they reported directly to the assistant superintendent. So therefore the assistant superintendent would be responsible for evaluating that position. By changing it directly to the superintendent, now the superintendent would have that responsibility of evaluating that position.
And if I can jump in to help answer this, so this was one of the things that came out of my review of departmental efficiencies. And as we started to look, there was a time when it made sense that the information technology department was housed within educational services. However, IT touches all departments, and really there's a place for it in ed services, but it really needs to have a place in business and a place in HR. And the reality is that position should be reported to the superintendent so that it doesn't get filtered through one department. With that, we then start to look at what does this look like in other districts, was part of my research. And from that, when you've made this change to recognize that IT is universal throughout your system, Chief Technology Officer is a more accurate description than Executive Director. Executive Director is made sense when it was reporting through the Assistant Superintendent. I controlled the directors and their reports. Now, because it is a standalone independent department, the title just makes more sense to fit with that role.
Okay, because I recall initially when we had brought the gentleman on board and talked about the job description, that's what we were told initially, that the reason that he had the title that he did was so that he could participate with the executive board. So now you're saying he's gonna participate with the executive board, but he was already, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question. And perhaps, at the time we could have looked around at the appropriate title for that. But I think at that time, we still saw this as housed in ed services. And part of the problem with that is that half of it was housed in ed services and half of it was housed elsewhere. So there wasn't continuity even within the department in terms of being able to work together without having to walk down the hill or to use our technology to communicate. So I think this is more of a reflection of the evolution of where we are with this department.
If I could jump in, hindsight's 20/20. So you're absolutely right. I mean, we're confused too, and we didn't know what we didn't know. We heard several presentations from trustee Avalos and trustee Betancourt Castañeda coming back from their delegate assembly saying, we need more cybersecurity, we need more network support. We have a flat network. We had David Della Casada come in and do a little audit and talk to us about those things. So we did the best that we knew at that time, but like Dr. Bird saying, it's evolving and we're understanding better the role and the need of information technology. And so when there are competing interests across departments, the supervisor usually is the one that gets to make the call. And so even though we're working very closely with Dwayne, if there's a cyber threat, a Public Records Act request, or a teacher that needs their smartboard on, who's going to get it, we want to be able to work together to make that determination of what, if safety is the number one thing, then we're going to focus on the cyber threat, and then we're going to triage from there. And so I think when Dr. Baird came in, the Educational Services Department is pretty big. We want to make sure people are focused on the right work. And we've heard loud and clear from the board, we want that district focused clearly on academic performance and expanded performance of students. And so it makes sense to move that department centralized, and I can be the evaluator, and then also making sure that it just represents industry standards in the title. So nothing else in the job description is changing, but and the cost or the salary is not changing. In fact, it's very competitive, and the job description looks pretty good. It just, if somebody's looking up our job descriptions and trying to compare them, the county office does comparables, for example, and all the comparables tend to be chief technology officer. So that's why we're bringing this forward as well.
Ms. Lopez?
Yes, thank you. I just briefly looked up 3 other districts, North County and South County, and their technology people have director titles. There's no executive or chief. So I would like to propose an amendment to the motion to keep the title as is, but change the reporting to the superintendent. I understand this new department person should, in their capacity, report to you, but I think we should also get some form of understanding of how the department is going and running. There's been several expenses by the department, which is new. It's a new position, it's a new department, it's growing, it's expanding, so it would be good to also have that brought to us for transparency.
Any other questions? Any other?
Before I agree to, and I would like to ask what other districts, I would say, have this title. Maybe we can just pull the item, have that information brought forward, because I'm not comfortable just making the adjustment. Maybe we can just have that information brought back to us, because if the industry is, like, it's a standard, let's get that information, let's get that data, because I would like to keep up with the standard rather than just to make the adjustment on the dice.
Okay, I might be able to answer that right now. Let me just check this.
Okay, while she's looking, I can also say that although we do look at school districts for our comparables, this would be the one department I would say that we also look at business, because we sometimes draw talent from business to this position. And that was one of the considerations in reviewing the language for the title, is that you're gonna find chief technology officer more frequently, probably on the business side than educational side. Yeah. So, we never want to lose our wonderful executive director of IT right now. But if you were to be advertising this position in the future, and you are not just advertising within school districts, but also to local industry, that title might get more recognition. I think that was the other consideration. This is not being pushed, by the way, from the executive director of IT. This was just a recommendation because of that consideration in terms of potential future hiring.
Right, that was something that through my delegate assembly meetings, it was very difficult to find individuals at this capacity.
Yeah.
Because it's very limited in scope, limited in individuals and big in scope. So there's not a lot of people that we were able to pull from. So therefore, it is as you mentioned, the industry is very small, but a lot of people were having a difficult time to try to fill the position, especially because, the pay is very high in pay, and us as a small district, and any small district can afford it. But it's very necessary. And so, I would be opposed to changing the title because we have a high probability of losing such high caliber individuals to a district that would be willing to, even with the title, pick them up. So, I'm saying this because I've attended numerous delegate assembly meetings where this is a high focus area because it leaves us in a very vulnerable situation. So, just
So
take
to-
that into consideration.
Yeah, so I guess to affirm what you're saying is that executive director means something in our world, perhaps differently than it might mean
And
out in the business world. And CTO crosses both lines, less so in our world. I will agree that it's less common in school districts.
yes,
However,
it's
you're
very
seeing it
new.
more and more. But if we are going to at some point, and maybe it's 10 years from now, if we're going to be competing, you might want to think about a title that competes across not just education, but also in business. And that would be the CTO title, not the executive director as much.
Mrs. Sarmiento?
Yeah, I'd just like to add that I don't think there's a fear or concern about losing
No.
this individual.
Yeah, no.
Because salary is not a factor on this
It's the
particular vote. Well, still, why would someone go from one job to another just in search of a title
Yeah.
when they're making X amount of dollars now? But anyways, that's just my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to imply that he was concerned about that or anything. This is really from us, from a district sense, looking down the road. That's all.
And a course correction.
The title is attracting to individuals, and we have to be mindful of when we are searching for individuals. And again, sitting through many sessions, this has been something that, and I've reported on numerous times for the past couple of years, that this is very important for us to have somebody in a position that is going to protect our district. And so we need to be proactive, not reactive. So let's think about this for future and not having to keep bringing this forward, so that if we can correct it now, we don't have to keep correcting it down the line.
Yes, Mrs. Brady?
Okay, I wanted to just address Trustee Lopez's quick research. You're absolutely correct. Most districts our size only have a director, and we only had I think we had a supervisor, and then we had a director of educational technology, but not information technology for many years. And what we learned from the presentations we were getting is that we had a lot of systems we needed to upgrade and put into place. So part of hiring what we thought was an executive director, chief technology officer at that level for our small district is an investment for this time to kind of fix some of our systems, make sure that our networks are secure, make sure that these filters are in place, make sure that we're doing as much as we can to protect our students. And we're hoping that through building capacity in the department, that if our current person does move on at some point, that we may have the ability to lower it back down to a director at that time and still have the capacity and the still feel safe with the skills that we have in our department. That is the hope and the goal. So you're right also, Trustee Sarmiento, that we had a director, we made it an executive director, but to draw someone with that skill set to help us with this investment. I think an update presentation to the board at an upcoming meeting would be a great thing, so that you can see how all these discrete things come together and see where we were and where we are now and what we're investing in and why.
So we do
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Did you say that? Oh, yeah, sorry, I just wanted to, just be cautious about changing a title for someone that we truly do see as talented and valuable. Of course, he is, and like you said, eventually he might leave. I mean, we all will leave eventually, I know, but I think keeping the title as is important for right now, especially given it's their first year. I'm guessing correct, and seeing how that work is and if it does translate to something greater. But I don't think we should change titles based on a person, but based on the scope of the work, which would be great to hear a presentation on that later.
And I believe that he's only been here for, what, 6 months? Or has he been here longer? 6 months? Oh, he's been here a year, and like.
Can I just add something?
Yes.
We have a county-wide salary survey that we do every year. And it's up to the districts to input, so it doesn't reflect all the districts. But the actual title, when we're trying to compare one job to another, may not necessarily be the same when the county asks us for this information. So when the county asks us for this information, the actual title they're using to have every district input is Chief Information Technology Officer. And then whether you have that position or not, you input the information, whether it's director, executive director, some here are assistant superintendents. But just right off the bat, and it doesn't reflect all 42 districts, but just right off the bat on this, it shows that it's Cajon Valley, Del Mar Union, Escondido Union. I know Poway has a chief technology officer, and Valley Center in Palma. The others could, it varies from district to district. We have some executives, some directors, and some assistant superintendents, so it varies, but sometimes it's hard to put in your information because the county has one type of title and then the districts have to decipher who goes in that category.
So there is out there in our communities.
Yes. And say for instance, we do lose, and we give him his title as Chief Technology Officer and he leaves, and we hire someone else and they ask, why aren't we getting paid more? The director.
We have
I
to
mean,
remember,
something
we have
changes.
to-
job description.
we have to remember, it's not the person, it's the position.
Right.
We have to separate those two. And that's what we have to keep in mind. That's always been the case. It's not the person, it's the title, it's the position.
Yeah, and so we're not talking about increasing pay or changing things. The change here is that the person will now be responsible for a department and reporting to a superintendent. We thought that by changing the title, that reflected that change, and that is the top position in that department. In other departments, we have directors, we don't have any other executive directors, but we have directors reporting to an assistant superintendent. That's the primary thing there.
We had suggested to pull the item. So can I hear anything else about that?
We've got our answers regarding that, so I'm okay with not pulling the item. We've got confirmation that there are other districts within our, local communities that have the same title. So I'm okay with not pulling the item. I'm still make the motion to.
Is there another discussion? Ms. Sarmiento?
I just want a clarification on what we're actually voting on. Are we voting for this to proceed as requested, or are we voting to table it, or what? I'm confused.
One item is on the table. We do have an item on the table, but it's motion. It's a motion. Ms. Lopez.
I just made a motion to amend to keep the title, but change under the direction of superintendent.
Can make her the motion does not.
So we're voting on the original motion, is my understanding.
Okay, so no, I make the motion, she seconded, and I continue it as the.
Let's vote, please.
Ms. Lopez?
No.
Ms. Sarmiento?
No.
Ms. Seca Castañeda? Ms. Ábalos?
No.
Yeah, yes, 3-0.
Going down to item B.
approves the out-of-state travel for Dr. Maritza Copen to attend the Legislative Action Day. Legislative Action Day is scheduled for September 25th, 26th, 2025. Legislative Action Day will take place during the fall break. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Sarmiento to approve, a second by Ms. Lopez. Please vote.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Sarmiento.
Aye.
Ms. Betancourt Castañeda.
Yes.
Ms. Ábalos.
Yes.
Item passes unanimous.
Item C, approve the out-of-state travel for, I just did that.
It's another one. A different
Oh,
one.
that's another one. Oh, okay, sorry. Approve the out-of-state travel for Dr. Marissa Copen to attend the Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents Annual Conference. Approval of this item will enable Mrs. Marissa Copen an opportunity to attend the Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents, ALAS Annual Conference. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Ms. Castaneda and a second by Ms. Sarmiento. Please vote.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye, and have some pizza for us.
Ms. Sarmiento.
Aye.
Ms. Betancourt Castañeda.
Yes.
Ms. Ábalos.
Yes.
Item passes unanimous.
Thank you. Now we'll go down to item D. Authorize the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources to hire temporary employees. Due to the urgency of hiring teachers to cover classrooms and for future resignations, the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources needs to have authorization from the governing board to hire needed teachers before they are placed in a classroom. Do I have a motion?
Motion with discussion. Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Sarmiento, a second by Ms. Castaneda,
Betancourt
And
Castaneda
Betancourt.
is correct.
Betancourt Castaneda. Discussion?
Yes, in the past, the board had set their minds to only hiring people who were fully credentialed. And then during the pandemic, we agreed to go with people on emergency credentials. Are we still sticking to that, or how is that being done?
Yes, we only would go with an emergency in any way if we didn't have applicants who were credentialed. So we have been receiving applicants that are credentialed, so that's great news. But this one isn't really about that. This one is more about if we hire someone before the next board meeting, can they start the job until, because we have, what's today? Today's the 25th, the next one's July 16th, and then August 16th, I think it is. So what this is allowing is if we were to hire someone, a position, they typically can't start until the board approves on that day. So essentially they could start either July 17th or August 17th. So if somebody were to start, let's say, July 19th, and I'm just making that up, I don't know. After the board meeting, we hire someone, they can actually begin the work without having to wait till August 16th. So in the past, this has been an annual approval that we've had, and that just allows us to work with about 10 new teachers that we anticipate. I don't think we'll use that many this year. Last year, we used 9 of the 10. But really, this just allows us to essentially ratify a hire to begin before the next board approval.
Ms. Lopez?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted clarification on this. Is there a reason why they are temporary, not probationary?
So these are positions, these would be, I understand what you're saying, classification. These would be, in this reference, this is referencing employees to temporarily be hired until board approved.
Oh, I see.
But really going back to your question, a temporary employee really is holding a space for a person who's out of the classroom, either out of the classroom or out on leave. So if you have a maternity leave for a 4th grade position, let's say, you would allow that person to go on leave, and then a temporary would come in to replace that person until they are ready to return.
Okay, so there's no temporary teachers without them not covering a classroom?
So we have temporary teachers who are holding a spot for a permanent employee.
Who's on leave?
Could be on leave or could be out of the classroom, working as a district research teacher, for example. That would be another one.
So there's a.
There's a backup for each person. It allows people to, let's say you have somebody funded with special funding, that ends, that person gets their position back in the classroom. A temporary teacher would be released so that the permanent employee could come back to that classroom.
Can we please vote?
Ms. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Sarmiento.
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker Castañeda,
Yes.
Ms. Ábalos,
Yes.
and passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item E, approval employment agreement with Dr. Robert Cochran, Assistant Superintendent Business Services. This item is an approval of an employment agreement with Dr. Robert Cochran.
Perfect.
Thank you. I've been practicing. Assistant Superintendent of Business Services. The Brown Act requires the board, prior to taking final action on an employment agreement, to orally report a summary of a recommendation for the salary schedules, or compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits for local agency executives. The Assistant Superintendent, Business Services is a local agency executive, and proposed contract with Dr. Robert Cochran is before us this evening. The proposed contract will be for a term of 3 years, beginning on July the 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2028. Dr. Cochran will receive an annual salary of $212,582.50. He will receive the same health benefits available to other management employees, and the district will pay up to an annual cost of family coverage. Dr. Cochran will also receive a monthly mileage stipend of $275, payment for membership dues to ACSA and other professional organizations up to $1,500 annually, 23 vacation days per year, and other leave rights provided to certified staff. Thank you.
Motion to approve item 7E.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Betancourt Castaneda and a second by Ms. Lopez.
Discussion.
Any discussion?
Yes, I'm not sure why this is on here, but why limited term? Is it standard, or I don't remember seeing that before. Under comments, second paragraph, proposed contract will be for a limited term from July 1st through June 30th.
Yeah, so the law says that a superintendent or assistant superintendent can only work for a maximum of 4 years and as approved by the board. So, and you can approve a contract for a start and an end term up to 4 years. And typically we do, this is 3 years. We typically do 3 years in national school district, but the law says the most you can do is 4. So you have to do a limited term, and then you have to renew the contract after that term.
Any other questions?
Just want to say welcome to Dr. Cochran.
Thank you so much.
Please vote first.
Ms. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Sarmiento.
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker Castañeda,
Absolutely, yes.
Ms. Ábalos,
Yes, Mr. Cochran. Thank you.
and passes unanimously.
Doctor.
Welcome, Dr. Cochran.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now go down to item F, approve CT 4311 with Beverly Hayes and administrative support. Approval of this contract will authorize Pure Dim substitute administrative support as needed during 2025 and 2026 school year.
Motion to approve item 7F with discussion.
Second.
Motion approved by Castaneda, Betancourt Castaneda, second by Cindy Lopez, and we have a discussion.
You thought you could get away, Ms. Hayes. Welcome back.
Thank you. Got you back. I did that. Thank you, Ms. Hayes.
Good to be back. Thank you for being here.
We have a discussion? That was me. Oh, that was it.
Can I-
No discussion. Welcome back.
Okay, so I also wanted to mention that we are currently looking for a principal at Olivewood School. We have a timeline that we're hoping to bring the board a candidate at the next board meeting on the 16th. And 2 days later, the staff reports back. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. We do think, whoever we bring you will be up for the challenge, but we do think Ms. Hayes was the principal at Olivewood and has lots of great relationships that it would be great to have her expertise through the transition so we can work to bring the new principal up to speed because the beginning of the year is very, very fast paced. And then of course, she's helped us out throughout the school year. We thought we would leave the contract open and use it as necessary. If something were to happen throughout the year, we would have our backup in place. So thanks for always being our backup.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any other comments? We'll now go down to
Ms. Lopez.
Vote.
Aye. Ms. Sarmiento.
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker Castañeda.
Absolutely.
Ms. Avalos. And
yes.
passes unanimous.
We now go to item 8, business services. Approve CT 4293 with Fagan, Fredman, and Full Frost LLP for legal services. Approval of this contract will enable Fagan and Friedman and Full Frost LLP to provide legal services at the district request. Do I have a motion? Motion to approve.
Second?
A motion to approve by Bettencourt Castaneda and second by Mrs. Lopez.
And then just for the board's reference, we always bring all of our attorney contracts on the annual contract listing, but we've committed that when things are on for a certain length of time, we pull them off so you can take a look at the contract. So this is one of those times where we're just pulling it off for transparency. The rest of them were on the annual contract listing that you already approved. And even though you work with them regularly, we still think for the public it's good to bring our contracts forward and bring them out of that listing every once in a while.
We have a motion by Ms. Bettencourt Castaneda and a second by Ms. Lopez. Please vote.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Sarmiento.
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker Castañeda.
Yes.
Ms. Avalos.
Yes.
And passes unanimously.
Item B, approve CT 4309 with Fortis Construction for bid 2425-12B for warehouse accessibility. Approval of this contract will provide for accessibility to the district warehouse in order to comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, requirements and preparation for the replacement of this warehouse freezer. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion by Ms. Bettencourt Castaneda and a second by Ms. Lopez. Please vote.
Motion was made by Ms. Sarmiento.
The motion was by Ms. Alma Cemento. I'm sorry, Alma. All right. Motion by Ms. Cemento, second by Ms. Lopez. Please vote.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Sarmiento.
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker Castañeda. Ms. Avalos.
Yes,
And passes unanimous.
we now have board cabinet communications.
I'll start. Hope everyone is having a wonderful summer break. I had the opportunity on Monday to go check out Palmer Way and Las Palmas with Dr. Brady and Dr. Julia, and it was just wonderful to see our teachers still working in their summer. Thank you so much for your dedication. Thank you, Cece and Stephen, as well for your work. And also thank you, David, for the new playground. It was really wonderful to see and also see students enjoy it and participate. That was really wonderful. Thank you so much. And then I did want to ask of the staff and also our fellow board colleagues. As you know, there's a proposed station, proposed build of a station near Kimball, one of our schools, that would cause great environmental damage and health damage to our students and families. So I would like to see if we're able to bring forth a resolution that perhaps we can support and our students support at the next board meeting or whenever possible. And also wanted to say thank you, Dr. Bird, for your commitment to our district. Thank you for coming back again. and hope you enjoy retirement again as well. And then welcome Dr. Robert Cochran to our district, praying for your success and impact on our students in your new role. Welcome back, Darlene. We're happy to have you again. And then I wanted to say a special shout out and congrats to one of my sheroes and fellow mentors, Dr. Fabiola Bagula, for being appointed as the new superintendent officially at San Diego Unified School District. Thank you.
Ms. Sarmiento?
I concur with comments that were made. Since it's summer vacation, I'll spare you all the misery. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. Castaneda, Bettencourt Castaneda.
Thank you. Almost there, Barbara. Thank you. Well, I also would like to wish everybody a wonderful summer break. Hope everybody's getting some well rest. That's much needed, I'm sure. I'd like to thank all the staff that is getting our schools prepared for the new summer. I know we do have many that are still out there working, but I'd like to thank them for all that hard work. Dr. Baird, thank you, yes, once again, for being our savior through these difficult times. But again, thank you for your expertise. We appreciate all the hard work that you have provided us. Don't be a stranger. Come back and visit us. Provide us to lunch, whatever it is. But really, honestly, thank you for everything that you've done. We truly appreciate you. Welcome, Dr. Cochran. Look forward to working with you. We'll see you soon. And thank you for being here tonight. Ms. Hayes, thank you for being here. I hope I don't see your car very late at night. You know, I live a block away.
I know.
I will know when you're there.
I have a new car, so.
Park down the street.
I will.
I'm gonna know. But thank you for being here and helping us through these challenging times. Obviously, the beginning of the school year is very difficult, but you know that school like the back of your hand, so thank you for being here. The staff is gonna be very grateful to have you there. And just everybody get some rest before the start of the school year, because it's gonna be very soon, blink of an eye, and it's gonna be here. So thank you and have a wonderful evening.
I want to welcome our new employees and welcome Dr. Cochran to the NSD family. Welcome back, Ms. Hayes. I just want to do a little announcement. Tomorrow, our Teacher of the Year, Alma Romero Evans, will be recognized at the Centurion Breakfast. So congratulations to her. I know that her and Principal and Dr. Brady will be there. I want to also thank Dr. Baird for his service and thank you for everything you've done for NSD. Also, just another thank you to Dr. Burke for his service, and we wish him well in his new district. And happy 4th of July and summer break.
All right. This is my final bi-weekly last board meeting. Kind of like the band that keeps coming back even when you want to go home, right? So this is my last song, I promise. I want to thank the board for your trust and the ability to come and work in this wonderful district. I always enjoyed my time here. Don't love the drive, love the job, and certainly the people here. It's the whole team is really outstanding. You have an amazing team. Executive cabinets, really collaborative, work so well together. You have an incredible superintendent, and I'm going to miss my team over in educational services. So I, definitely will be checking in with everyone. But thank you again for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Dr. Brady.
All right, well, I too am looking forward to having breakfast with several of you tomorrow morning for the Centurion Awards. Just a reminder that a lot of our staff will be on vacation in the week after this one. So it'll be a real skeleton crew. If you show up, the doors may be locked, just to make sure that people aren't wandering around off the street. So it will be appointment only for people that need to come into the district office. John Hanson will actually be my designee. So today I shared all of your cell phone numbers with him, and he promised that if anything happens, he will update you. But I will also put his cell phone number in the weekly update this week so that you'll have it if you need to reach him, but you also have it in your board binder. So I'll be gone for next week. So it'll be for next week. And only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because Friday is 4th of July. And this Friday we're dark. It's our last dark Friday. So just the four days next week. Beverly, it's so good to have you back.
Thank you.
See, Tim, retirees come back. And see, Dr. Cochran, once you join our family, you just don't leave.
I can't wait.
You might get another job someday, but you won't leave our family. That's what's special about National. And so, Dr. Baird, on your second tour of NSD, I just wanted to say a few closing words to you. Thank you for everything that you've done to move our district forward as interim assistant superintendent of educational services, even if you insist that you are just a consultant doing special projects. You've guided us through every step of the LCAP process, including staff and community input, goal setting, budgeting, and the final board approval, and gave it a refreshed look with a fancy blue baseball cap with an L on it. LCAP. Thank you for being here to support us at board meetings, even tonight. And even though you swore when you retired that you were done with board meetings. And in your short time, I do appreciate how you brought people together across departments, that you used their input to shape many improvements. You helped us dig through our data. You helped us reflect honestly and update our learning plan. You rolled up your sleeves to support negotiations, examine our budgets for district-wide efficiencies, and helped keep educational services on track. And one of your lasting legacies is the creation of the Educational Services Department Guide, which is an extraordinary roadmap for how we align our programs and stay focused on student learning. So thank you, Tim, for being a very generous thought partner and an honorary member of our NSD team. See you next time. That's all I have.
We have his phone number. First of all, I want to say thank you for putting up with me right now today. I took our President Michelle Gates' place. She had a family event that we all wanted her to go to, which is very important. And putting up with my mispronouncing words, Dr. Croc. I will keep practicing. Mr. Hayes, it's always great to see you, and you've been one of our, how should I say, number one.
Oh, thank you.
Here.
You
And-
guys as well.
And I hope that everybody has a nice 4th of July. I don't know who's going to the fair, but thank you, Ms. Captain. You've always kept us well informed. I appreciate that. And Dr. Berry, you've been a wonderful person here with all of us. I've always enjoyed your great smile. Always smiling. I've never seen you like, oh darn. No, you've always had a great smile. I'm not going to repeat everything because I might forget something like I always do. But Cindy, thank you. You said it all. Ms. Sarmiento, Ms. Castaneda, thank you so much. And of course, our wonderful superintendent. Enjoy your vacation. Try to rest. Don't worry about what's happening over here. Just put your husband and son number one and you number one. You need to rest. Thank you. Thank you very much. Meeting is now over. At what time?
7:04.